Hello everyone, welcome to all of my new subscribers and welcome back to my existing subscribers. It is lovely to have you here. I am Lisa Salvatore, intuitive and astrologer, and today we're diving into the astrology of the Pisces New Moon and the energetic landscape for the second half of March. This is where the energy really begins to turn. We are all feeling it. We have a mystical new moon in the sign of intuitive Pisces. We have Mercury stationing direct after weeks of reflection and confusion. And the equinox arrives as the sun moves into Aries, igniting the astrological new year. Personally speaking, the fog begins to lift, clarity returns, and many of us may start to feel that inner spark coming back online. So let's take a look at what the stars are revealing, what energies are unfolding collectively, and how you can move through this powerful shift with awareness, intention, intuition, and purpose. Jumping right into the new moon that takes place on March 18th or 19th, depending upon where you are in the world. We've got a new moon in Pisces, a new moon at the 28th degree of Pisces, and I'll pull up the chart here in a moment. This new moon takes us out of the eclipse portal here, but we are still technically within the eclipse portal. Back on February 17th, you'll recall that we had a solar eclipse in Aquarius, and that eclipse, that new moon, fell at the 28th degree of Aquarius. That also coincided with the Chinese Lunar New Year. The year of the horse began. More importantly, the planet Uranus was at 27 degrees of Aquarius at the time of that eclipse, squaring Mars, the planet of action, energy, force, the god of war. Mars at 27 degrees of Taurus, squaring Uranus at Mars at 27 degrees of Aquarius, squaring Uranus at 27 degrees of Taurus. Both Uranus and Mars are representative of nuclear activity, bombs, threats, explosions, combustibility. That Mars-Uranus energy is combustible. It is explosive. This time also coincided with the exact conjunction of both Saturn and Neptune at 0 degree of Aries, 0 degree at that cardinal world point. And this is where we saw quite the escalation between Iran and the US. So here we are. Let's pray. Let's do what we can do to keep ourselves upright and to help others that may need us right now. Now, moving into the new moon in Pisces, this new moon is not an eclipse. It doesn't really carry, this new moon itself, this lunation, does not really carry tremendous tension, but the energy right now is obviously carrying tremendous tension. Since we are dealing with a Pisces new moon, Pisces is the final sign of the zodiac. It's the ending. It's where we wrap things up and get ready for the new cycle as we move into Aries season, new beginnings. Pisces asks us to truly tune in, check in with self. It's a very strong spiritual energy. It's a strong energy of spiritual and divine connection. It's about knowing without knowing. Think of this time period as renovating our relationship with spirit, with our spirit and with spirit source, the divine, however you look at that, spirit in general. What do we believe in? What are the practices, the spiritual practices that bring us back to center, that keep us feeling safe within self? This is about deepening our intuition, deepening our connection with our intuition, and being more cognizant of the unseen. We are all much more receptive and sensitive to energy right now. Let's go ahead and pull up the chart and then we'll talk about where this falls for you by sign. Here's the chart for the Pisces new moon taking place on March 18th at 9:24 p.m. Eastern time. I have this set for New York time. You can obviously set this for wherever it is that you live. It's 6:24 p.m. Pacific time. And then in some parts of the world, such as the UK, this new moon actually takes place on the 19th, the day after. We see here that the sun and the moon are aligned at 28 degrees and 27 minutes of Pisces. This is how we have our new moon when the sun and moon are conjunct one another. We're at the 28th degree here of Pisces. We're almost to the anaretic degree, the critical degree, the 29th degree, indicating a wrap up, the ending, a culmination, a crisis point, a turning point. The ruling planet of Pisces, the traditional ruling planet of Pisces is Jupiter, and Jupiter's here at 15 degrees of Cancer, making a trine to Mars and a wide trine to Mercury in the North Node here, connected at 8 degrees of Pisces, extremely significant. We'll talk about that in a moment. This Jupiter-Mars trine can be very supportive of movement forward. However, we're dealing with a lot of water energy here. And when we're dealing with water energy like this, especially when we have Mars here in Pisces in a water sign and Jupiter's in Cancer, there could be this, like we want to move and we want to take action, but we feel like we can't for some reason. The energy might just not be there. It's more internal than external, but in some cases, you will be able to move forward dependent upon your own personal energy levels and your intuition, because this is where we act based more off intuition than anything else. Jupiter is the traditional ruler of Pisces, and Jupiter is in a helpful position here for the most part. It is in an exact square with Venus, so there's this little potential here to overdo things or to just kind of want to really check out and numb out and escape and fill ourselves with all of the good things in life that help us to escape. So we just want to watch out for that. Escaping through spirituality, escaping through soul solitude, that could be very beneficial and improve your connection, deepen your connection, strengthen your connection with self and with spirit. We want to be very mindful about not spiritual bypassing, meaning we're not ignoring the very real significant things going on in our realities, but we're finding healthier ways and outlets to dealing with them. And we're recognizing where we must relinquish control or where we, in fact, don't have the control. There's an energy of surrender here. That's what Pisces is all about. It's about divinity. It's about surrender. It's about kindness. It's about empathy. But it can also be on the shadow side about evading and escaping and avoiding. So we just want to watch out for that. Mercury is also very stationary at this point, getting ready to station direct at this degree of Pisces, just a couple of days after, right at the heels of the equinox. Mercury is talking, although internally. A lot of what's going on is not going to be very direct, so you have to trust your inner compass. You have to trust your inner light. In fact, the Sabian symbol for this new moon, 29 degrees of Pisces, because you always round up for the Sabian symbol. The Sabian symbol for this new moon is a prism. What is a prism? A prism is light that scatters. It's light that changes direction, takes on a different form. Light, divinity, intuition, connection. How are we working with this? How are we spreading this? Are we not? Reflection is a key word here. Mercury is exactly aligned with the North Node here. The North Node, an indicator of destined circumstances, destiny, fate. Mercury aligned with the North Node exactly at 8 degrees, opposite the South Node at 8 degrees of Virgo. Where and what and whom are we being placed with? Where do the synchronicities, the patterns lie? Not lie as in deceit lie. Lie as in where do they lay? Where do they fall? Truths being revealed, both personally and collectively. Discernment is key. It's very important. You're not always going to know what is fact, what is fiction. You have to trust, you have to go within. And this energy is very supportive of that. Now, the modern day ruler of Pisces is Neptune, and this new moon is conjunct Neptune and Saturn. Even though Neptune and Saturn are both in Aries at this point, it's an out of sign conjunction. So this new moon is conjunct both Neptune and Saturn. There's an emphasis here on grounding our dreams into reality. It's about a deeper understanding and recognition of what is meant to be worked through, what is meant to come into the light of day, what is meant to be consolidated, and then what is meant to be dissolved, what is meant to be done away with. We have an exact sextile here, supportive aspect from Uranus to this new moon. Uranus now at 28 degrees of Taurus, and the new moon here at 28 degrees of Taurus. This is a supportive aspect. This will really help us to facilitate necessary change. It will help us to be innovative in more creative ways, different ways. And more importantly, it's going to show glimmers of the future. There's going to be a lot of aha moments, deja vu moments, psychic downloads. You're going to feel like you're in the Matrix at times. It's definitely felt like that. And it's also going to feel like we're being supported with taking quantum leaps toward the future, whatever that looks like. Personally speaking and collectively speaking, we are dealing with this Piscean energy right now, which is very strong. And the shadow side of all of this Pisces can be deceit. Where have we buried our heads or evaded something, anything? world-related, personally related, deception, lies, toxicity, all of that. It's really important to look within and ask these significant questions. Neptune is still slightly off of that 0 degree point, the anaretic degree. So we are seeing a lot of world changes taking place right now, a lot of weather-related disturbances. This new moon is conjunct Saturn and Neptune. There's been a lot of flooding. There's been flooding in Spain, France, Portugal, New Zealand, huge storms in New Zealand. Unfortunately, I feel that that's going to be very increased around this second half of March, especially as this new moon is quite close to being at the anaretic degree and very close to an exact conjunction here with Neptune and Saturn. And we've also got the sextile to Uranus, earthquakes. There's been a lot of earthquakes, a lot of volcanic activity as well. Even though Uranus is in a supportive aspect to this new moon, Uranus is still very activated. Mother Earth is speaking to us and through us. The dreams have been extremely revealing, for better or worse, sometimes disturbing, sometimes quite literal, sometimes not. Remember the shadow side of the Pisces energy. Don't believe everything that you see and hear. Don't believe everything that you're told. Don't believe everything that you're being fed. Trust is the key. Trust in yourself, in your discernment. Spiritual awakenings are very profound right now. Stripping away of the old, of what's no longer working for us, and it can feel painful to bring forth the new, to rebirth the new. Remember, we're dealing with a lot of Pisces and then a lot of Aries here. Pisces being the ending, Aries being the beginning. But it's more significant than that because we're coming out of a 29-year Saturn cycle where Saturn has been in Pisces, and now Saturn is starting a fresh cycle in Aries, going to go through all 12 signs of the zodiac again for another 29 and a half year cycle here that we're being set up for. And then with Neptune entering Aries here, we will not see this energy again in this lifetime. Saturn, we will see, most of us will likely see, hopefully, Saturn come back around in Aries again, but not Neptune. It really is a whole new era. Just look at what's going on across the world. Systems are collapsing. It's scary times, but at the same time, there's liberation here, or there is set to be. Pisces Aries energy, endings and beginnings. And we're also lacking the earth element right now too. So that's really not helping us in feeling grounded, in feeling stable. That's why it's so important to pull into your spiritual practices that keep you safe, that keep you centered. We're dealing with water, a lot of water, and we're dealing with fire, which is very emotional and very reactive, very heightened. Be an observer, not an absorber. And just to drive the point home with the water energy, storms, flooding, etc., this new moon is aligned with fixed star Sheet. And Sheet is also aligned here with Neptune, the god of the sea, now in a fire sign. Fire and water, literally. Fixed star Sheet has many different properties that fall underneath this fixed star, but one of them is misfortunes at sea, misfortunes having to do with water. This fixed star is technically considered a malefic energy. It's associated with catastrophes and water-related disasters. And Neptune has been moving across this anaretic 29th degree of Pisces for quite some time over the last 2 years. And so we've seen, unfortunately, a lot of unfortunate water situations, weather-related damage all across the world. This is actually echoing the themes of the Great Flood in 1861 and 1862. I think it's so important that we remember each and every single day to say a prayer for the collective. It's a ripple effect. Venus is here at 15 degrees of Aries in a semi-square to Uranus. Uranus in Taurus is an instability when it comes to money, an instability when it comes to the financial systems, especially the crypto market right now, gold and silver, very volatile, unpredictable. So that will be very heightened around this new moon and going through the remainder of March. Silver being favored right now, where gold will be more favored as we move throughout the second half of this year, especially June and July, when Jupiter moves into Leo. Haumea, the Hawaiian goddess of fertility, although it's not just relevant to Hawaii, Haumea, which for some reason, she's not here. I thought I had her in here. Well, anyway, Haumea is at 3 degrees now of Scorpio, and Haumea is in an exact quincunx or inconjunct 150 degree aspect to Saturn here at 3 degrees of Aries. It's an exact quincunx. There's a hopeful message here underlying of the birthing of the new, of regeneration, healing. That's a really strong word for this new moon in Pisces and the second half of March. Heal. Do what you can do to heal emotionally, physically, spiritually. Mars here in Pisces is asking us to rest. Mars is the go, go, go planet. And in Pisces, Mars puts his sword down, whether he wants to or not, and has to rely on feeling when the right time is to take action, and maybe not having the energy when it's the right time. Mars moving into Aries, this is where it's truly go time. Mars rules Aries. So right now, because once Mars moves into Aries, it's going to be much faster. We're already moving into quicker energy right now as the sun is about to move into Aries here. But with Mars in Pisces, it still feels a little bit foggy, a little bit slowed down. You may feel emotionally, physically, spiritually burnt out, stressed, overwhelmed, and or taxed, especially if you're strongly mutable, which is Gemini, Pisces, Sagittarius, or Virgo. You may really be feeling this. You're being encouraged to rest. We can't tune in and tap in and listen to self if there's too much outer noise. If we're swimming against the current as opposed to allowing it to take us, this is where we can get tripped up. Mars was last in Pisces in 2024. Think about how much has shifted in your reality since then. Take some time around this new moon to truly reflect on this. All of the growth, all of the release, all of the transformation. Once we get past the equinox and Mars moves into Aries, which is not too long from now, I think it's April 9th, Mars moves into Aries, then it will really feel like we're being propelled forward. We're starting to get there. The energy is still quite slushy. Now let's talk about where this new moon will fall for you by your rising sign. You always want to follow your rising sign for most accuracy. And then of course you can also listen to your sun sign because you will likely resonate with both, but more so your rising sign and even your moon sign if you know it. You can always pull up your birth chart for free right down in the description box. I'll have a link there. And I also have a quick tutorial on how to track these energies and a downloadable guide through the houses of the birth chart. This is general, so you first have to identify where 28 degrees of Pisces falls for you, because this is where this new moon will be occurring. And you're also going to want to look to the 0 degree Aries point. It might be in the same house of the birth chart. It might be in separate houses. Remember, you want to use the Placidus house system to find this most accurately. Be sure to set an intention for this area of your life by where the new moon falls for you. And real quick, if you would like to track these energies with more clarity and intention, with monthly and weekly mantras and journal prompts and check-ins, my 2026 astrology and energy guide in Stars and Spirit is available on Amazon. So go and check that out. Okay, if you are an Aries rising, this new moon is going to fall in your 12th house. The 12th house is an area where we really need to let go. We may not necessarily want to let go, but we need to let go. We're being prompted to let go. The 12th house is the natural house ruled by Pisces, and this is a Pisces new moon. So there's some form of very strong clarity or epiphanies involving a significant relationship in your life, Aries, relationship with self. You could be feeling more called to go inward. Your intuition is going to be supercharged. This is a great new moon to set some intentions for how you want to nurture your spiritual health, your emotional health, and your physical health. Taurus rising, this new moon is going to take place in your 11th house. It's activating the areas of your life around your friendships, your communities that you're a part of. Even online communities fall into this. You could find yourself wanting to put your energy toward different causes, working with different people, cultivating new friendships, maybe letting go of existing friendships and friendship dynamics. For Gemini rising, this new moon is going to activate your 10th house, the most public space of your chart. At the very least, it's the most public for you right now. You could feel called to make a career change. You can feel called to make massive changes in general to both your personal and your professional life. Cancer rising, this new moon is activating your 9th house of expansion, higher learning, your higher mind, your belief systems. This is a great time to plan that retreat you've been thinking about or that long distance trip. You might not be able to go right now, but it's a great time to set the intentions, set the plans in motion. For Leo, this new moon is activating your 8th house of intimacy, loss, sex, all of the deep, profound truths of our soul, of our psyche. This could bring up a lot having to do with your relationship surrounding grief and loss, intimacy. It's a great new moon to set some intentions for strong self-reflection and inner work and growth. Virgo, this new moon emphasizes your relationships of all kinds. agreements, contracts, negotiations, those that you wish to collaborate with, cooperate with, also those that you are not collaborating and or cooperating with. This is a powerful new moon for setting intentions on moving forward with the new in regards to the others in your life and nurturing the most important relationship, which is the relationship to self. Libra, this new moon is activating your 6th house of your everyday habits, your routines, your health, your well-being. With everything going on in your life right now, ask yourself, is it supporting me? Is it supporting my growth? Is it supporting my healing, most importantly? This is a great new moon to set intentions for those habits and behaviors that can positively impact your life, your everyday life. And your work life becomes a part of this as well. Scorpio, this new moon is activating the fun house of your life. This is the area that deals with love, children, our own inner child, our creative projects and endeavors, our own creativity, our ability to have fun, play, pleasure, joy. Set some intentions for these areas of your life. And you may even get a spiritual present or two in these areas of life. Sagittarius, this is a very personal, private energy around this new moon for you. It doesn't feel public, although it could have something to do with your public roles, your career perhaps, the work-home life balance. This new moon can feel very emotional for you, very emotionally draining and or revealing. It could even be both. Lots of recognition at this time. There's a lot of energy around your family, family dynamics, your actual home, and your intuition is so sharp right now. You especially pay attention to those dreams. Capricorn, this new moon is talking to you, involving what you're talking about. This is all about your communication, the ways in which you express yourself or would like to. Reading, writing. There's a lot of focus on your community, your networks, the people that you're in contact with on the day-to-day, and the new coming into these areas of life, and also new ways of you expressing yourself in these areas of life. Travel could also feature for you around this new moon, setting intentions to take that trip that you've been talking about. Aquarius, this new moon is impacting your 2nd house of value and well-being, also relationships, your relationship to self. This is about your financial value, your emotional value, your physical value, your spiritual value, your virtue. How are you feeling? It's time to take inventory on all fronts. This is a great new moon for setting intentions for your financial health and well-being for the future, and also for your relationships, the future of your relationships. Pisces, this new moon is all about you. What do you want the next decade plus to look like for you and to feel like for you? How do you want to be acknowledged? How do you want to be remembered? How do you want to be referred to? Mind, body, spirit is the perfect time to set intentions for where you want to go. Surrender and let it flow. Moving along past this new moon, we get to the equinox. March 20th, the sun enters Aries at 10:46 a.m. Eastern Time. And with the entrance of the sun into Aries, we also experience the equinox, equal parts of light and dark. In the northern hemisphere, it is the spring equinox. In the southern hemisphere, it is the autumn equinox. Either way, the experience of the equinox is about rebirth. It's about new beginnings. It's about shedding of the old in order to make way for the new. We are also currently under a lot of the Pisces Aries energy here, which is an even stronger indicator, as always for Aries season, of releasing. But because we've got so much going on in Pisces right now, which is not always the case every year, and we've got the North Node in Pisces exactly aligned with Mercury in Pisces, at the time of the equinox, Mercury is very stationary because Mercury is about to station direct. At 3:33 p.m. Eastern Time, Mercury will station direct at 8 degrees and I think 9 minutes of Pisces. Mercury stationing direct in a conjunction with the North Node. Destiny is at work. Destiny is talking. Destiny is speaking to us and speaking through us. This is where we must really pay attention to what is not being said. Also necessarily, what are we being fed? Discernment is key. How does it feel? How does it land in your body, in your mind, but most importantly, in your spirit? That is how you know. So the 20th is a powerful energy, powerful day. Something is being activated. There is an ignition point here, personally speaking. And then another major point of this month as we move throughout March is that on March 28th, we have Saturn here at 5 degrees of Aries in an exact sextile, 5 degrees and 9 minutes of Aries, in an exact sextile to Pluto here at 5 degrees and 9 minutes of Aquarius. Now the sextile is a harmonious aspect. It's a 60-degree aspect between signs, between planets. It is a harmonious aspect of ease and flow and support. However, we have to be aware of the opportunities here within the energies in order to really harness them, in order to benefit from them, in order to receive them. Pluto and Saturn are traditional malefics in astrology. They're not, Saturn is all about the containment of the energy, which isn't a bad thing, but it's sometimes touted as negative because Saturn can limit us, block us. It's about the structure. It's about order, work. But it's also about resilience and, yes, of course, boundaries. And when we're dealing with Pluto, we're dealing with the dissolution of the energy, the dissolution of the ego. It's very transformative and also geared toward what leaves has to be reborn or will be reborn. The process can sometimes be painful, but it's always very regenerative. So why am I bringing this up? The last time that we dealt with strong Saturn-Pluto energy was back in January of 2020 when we had the conjunction of Saturn and Pluto in Capricorn. We all know what January of 2020 brought us collectively. This was the talk of COVID-19, the start of what was to become the full-blown lockdown in March. Now, I'm not saying, and I'm certainly not vibing on that something similar will happen again, although it could. So whatever we're hearing the rumblings of now as it pertains to medical, as it pertains to oil, as it pertains to toxicity in general, within the next few months, there will likely be more information revealed. So let's hope that this is going to be a supportive Saturn-Pluto cycle here. I normally don't dive too much into degree theory or degrees unless it's surrounding the anaretic degrees, the 28th, 29th, 0, and 1 especially. However, I want to mention that when we had the Saturn-Pluto conjunction in Capricorn back in January of 2020, that conjunction occurred at 22 degrees of Capricorn. The 22nd degree is traditionally associated with illness, danger, or intense life-altering power struggles. And that Saturn-Pluto conjunction did bring all of that to us collectively and personally. So much stress under that energy. This Saturn-Pluto sextile, so it's not a conjunction. Conjunctions are very strong, whichever way they fall, whichever way they tend toward, which can be powerfully positive and or powerfully negative. When we're dealing with the sextile, we're dealing with a harmonious aspect, but we're still dealing with two malefic planets. Now, that 9th degree is associated with a more critical degree for the fixed signs, which are Taurus, Scorpio, Leo, and Aquarius. But the themes of the 9th degree, where the 22nd degree are the more darker themes. I'm sorry, I have to insert this here. I'm saying the 9th degree. I actually meant the 5th degree because Saturn is sextiling Pluto at 5 degrees and 9 minutes. And I was focusing on the 9th degree there, but this is actually occurring at the 5th degree. But the 5th degree is still a very positive degree. It's associated with Leo. It's the Leo degree. And it represents positive themes of joy, creative power, pride, and pleasurable anticipation. It typically highlights moments of success or recognition, high energy. It's also connected to artistic talent and romance. It has a charisma to it. There's a charismatic quality, like almost like having a star, being a star. So either way, this is still a relatively positive degree. So I apologize. I kept on referencing the 9th degree here, but it's the 5th degree. The 9th degree is indicative of purification and the overcoming of obstacles. But most important, it is a degree of intense karmic lessons. We've been talking about this for months. If you've been with me for months, if not the last 2 years, especially more significantly, this karmic cleanse that's occurring collectively and personally. We reap what we sow again and again and again. It's a circle. It's a circle of consequence, the circle of life, the circle of consequence. I struggle lately even using the word karma because it often receives this negative connotation and it's so overblown. But in actuality, that is what karma is. Karma is consequence for actions, and also karma is consequence for inaction for all of us. It's a wheel. It's not positive. It's not negative. It is what it is. So this is a point of karmic reckoning for all. But I like the indication of the fact that it's a softer aspect and at a softer degree, technically. I hope that helps to ease any anxieties around these energies. All of that to say, whatever we're hearing the rumblings of around the end of this month, regarding those areas that I mentioned, health and well-being, healthcare, oil, food supply. There will be more to come as the months unfold, and hopefully in a positive manner. And And then we close out the month, Venus, the goddess of love and beauty. Venus is all about connection, also money, value, what we favor. Venus adorns her throne in the sign of Taurus. Venus is in her domicile in the sign of Taurus. She loves to be in Taurus. This is the height of pleasure and ecstasy and all the beautiful things. This is a very nice energy to close out the month with. I will mention though, as Venus enters Taurus, she starts to move towards a square with Pluto. So emotions are going to continue to feel very heated up, for better or worse. And there's going to be an intensity still, personally speaking, with what you're feeling. So whether you're vibing on the love, that's going to be that much more intense, that much more strong, and or vibing on fear, that's going to be that much more strong and that much more intense. So it's very important to try to be as mindful as you can about everything that you're vibing on, and try to keep yourself in that energy of love, in that vibration of love, joy, hope, possibility, rather than fear, depression, despair. It's so easy to go into that space. I know that it is right now. Remember, when we are in that space, I'm going to say they, can do what I call the 4 Ds: distract, divide, deceive, and destroy. We don't want that. We don't want to vibe in that energy. We want to vibe on the love as much as we possibly can. Take really good care of yourself. Drop into your body. Keep up with your breathing, conscious breath work. Get out into nature. Spend time with those you love. Laugh. Laughter truly is medicine, as is nature. It is so easy to want to stay isolated these days. Believe me, I know. But connection is so important, even virtually. If you don't want to leave your home, do it virtually. This is a time where the digital is very favored. Now, like any other good astrologer would do, I of course have looked at charts with different parts of the world. I'm obviously not going to bring all of it into this video, but I will say, dealing with this Saturn-Pluto sextile, if we look at the chart of the United States, the Sibley chart, the inner wheel here is the chart for the United States. The outer wheel is the current transits as of March 28th. We can see Saturn now at 5 degrees of Aries, pretty close to Neptune. Neptune in opposition to the midheaven of the US. The midheaven being the highest, most visible point of the chart. So we've got Saturn and Neptune in opposition to the midheaven. And here's the thing, the 4th house is representative of the home base, the home, the foundation of a structure, of a person, of a chart. And we've got Neptune just 1 degree off of the Imam Coli, the bottom of the chart, the most private space here of the chart of the United States. We have Neptune angular here, very close to the IC, the bottom of the chart of the US, and then the midheaven, the top of the chart of the US. It's opposite that point. Are we taking the right actions? Are we being deceived? Is it all of the above? Saturn's here as well, paying the piper, reality. Pluto in the 2nd house of the money and values, quite close to the South Node, release, a release point, destiny. The South Node is going to enter Aquarius quite soon, which means we're going to be getting eclipse energy to these areas for the chart of the United States as well, destiny. And it's worth mentioning that our current president was also born during an eclipse. And we're going to be going into our Uranus return, massive disruption and transformation to the routines, the daily life, the energy of the US. Now I have to pull the chart of Iran in here. Look at transiting Uranus right on the moon of Iran. Uranus is getting very close to the anaretic degree for its final passage through Taurus. Taurus is stability and Uranus is instability. The moon of the chart in Iran is a Taurus moon, 28 degrees, 33 minutes, in the 6th house of the daily habits, routines, the heartbeat, the pulse of the country. Uranus conjunct the moon. This is very erratic behavior and activity coming both from and toward Iran. It's exactly where we are right now. Iran is also going through the nodal opposition, the 9th house, long distance travel. Iran is also in its Mars return because Mars here is at 25 degrees in the 4th house of home and foundation for the country. Mars is currently at 20 degrees of Pisces, moving through the 3rd house of communication. The 6th house also deals with conflicts, accidents, enemies, explosions, and weapons. Uranus can also be very erratic, as we know. It's in opposition, although wide, to the Uranus in the chart of Iran, in the 12th house of hidden enemies. The country is also experiencing its Jupiter return. The 8th house we know is traditionally associated with death, the hidden secretive things of life. And I'm speaking at a very basic astrological level here. Of course, there's a lot more depth to this, but generally speaking, Jupiter transiting the 8th house. Jupiter is at the anaretic degree for the chart of Iran in the 8th house. Jupiter, by transit, Jupiter is now moving direct. The 8th house is also indicative of explosions and weapons, destruction, death, massive transformation, crisis, sudden events. Timing-wise, March through May is going to be extremely critical and extremely telling of the future, of our future. Bring it back to prayer, bring it back to hope. It's all that we can do right now. Okay, I'm going to stop this here. You can always find me, lisasalvatore.com. I'll have some private sessions opening up soon. I've also got some group sessions coming up. Be sure to sign up for my newsletter. Take really good care, and I will be back soon.